Let's make a church anniversary plate and talk about how a pastor having a meltdown during his church anniversary is the reason why I don't take any mess off of anybody. And if you knew what was going to be on this plate before I even opened it, you're one of my people and you're going to want to hear this story. Outside of the trips that I took down south with my grandparents, one of my earliest introduction to travel was when our church would rent a charter bus. We would go to like a nearby church in another city when they were having their church anniversary or pastor and wife anniversary. One such trip, this pastor crashed all the way out in front of everybody. I was really young when this happened, like maybe 8 to 10, and this story has lived rent-free in my mind for my entire life. So my church at the time went to Apple Valley because this pastor was having his church anniversary, and we went to celebrate with him. And everything was fine at the service. You know, everybody was like, "Oh, you're such a great pastor." All the praises were given. Of course, the reports were paid. If you know, you know. Everything went fine. So after the service, they were offering the church anniversary plates. And at this particular church, they said, okay, we're going to serve the kids first. So they had us sit down and we were at the table in the fellowship hall and they started giving out their church anniversary plates, which is always the same meal, no matter what church you're at. It's always the same exact thing. So me and my friends were sitting at the table. The adults are lined up still to get their plates, and we're chatting, being kids, having a good time. Unbeknownst to me, one of the sisters at the church had words with one of the members of hospitality. Unfortunately, my mom did not believe in gossiping, especially in front of us kids. So to this day, I have no clue what the lady at our church and the hospitality lady got into it over. But I'm sure it has something to do with like the logistics of serving the food. They had a disagreement regarding that. They got into it over that. I didn't see or hear any of this, but the hospitality lady got offended at the whole back and forth that they had. And so she tells the pastor, and I don't know what version of event she relayed to the pastor, how accurate it was, if she threw some extra tea on it, but the pastor got really upset. So as far as I knew, everything was copacetic. Like I didn't know that there was any conflict. I'm just sitting there at the kids' table with my friends from church. Little did I know that that pastor was getting ready to put us all in our place, or so he thought. So the pastor appears in the fellowship hall, and he has on his really nice celebration suit, and he has this ginormous, uncomfortably large yellow boutonniere. I'll never forget it, even though I was a little girl when this happened. So this ginormous man has a full-blown temper tantrum. You guys are not gonna run over me in my church. Sister Floating, I don't remember her name. Sister Floating works so hard to feed you guys, and you guys are not going to disrespect her. If she tells you guys to do something, you're going to do it. This is my church, and y'all are going to respect me. Y'all going to respect her. Y'all going to respect this house. And just crashing out for had to be like 10 minutes straight. I'm like 8 to 10 years old, so I'm terrified because there is this very large man who I don't know. I am at a church I've never been to before. I'm freaked out. I don't know how out of hand the situation is going to get. So just like any child would do, I immediately look at my mom to see how freaked out I should be about this situation. When I looked over at my mom, let me tell you, this woman was gagged. She was too stunned to speak. Like she was clutching her pearls. So then I knew like, this isn't normal. So after a while, my mom makes eye contact with me. After like whispering with the other sisters in line, she makes eye contact with me and she mouths. Every Black child knows what that means. Like, don't ask no questions. Don't talk back. Just gather your stuff. It's time to go. I had just got my plate and I was like enjoying like the one bite I got to take. But then I just had to leave everything and we all started loading back up on the bus. This pastor who had just went completely off on us without any sort of shame, without any sort of hesitation. The pastor goes, "Wait, where are you guys going? Wait, don't leave. You guys are leaving? Wait, where are you going?" And I'm like, "Sir, were you not here when you just had your whole toddler tantrum? Like, was that not just you?" So we all pile back on our charter bus. The bus takes us to a nearby like cheap buffet, probably like a hometown buffet. I don't remember exactly which one. So we go to the buffet and we have our replacement meal. And then of course the kids are at one table and the adults are at another table. And I can see the adults talking about what happened, but we weren't really in earshot. So we finish our meal, and then the bus takes us back home. I resumed the story in just a couple seconds, but at this point my kids had come home from school and they were making all of the noise. If you're enjoying the tea and the dishes, be sure to give me a follow. And let me know if you would have walked out on him too. A couple days later, it was Bible study. Our pastor got up in the pulpit with maybe a slight amount of trepidation. He was like, Pastor Jenkins would like, I don't remember his real name, but Pastor Jenkins would like to apologize. He doesn't understand why you guys left. He's sorry about how he handled that. I don't blame you guys for leaving. And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't know why we were upset, why are you apologizing, sir? You know exactly what you did. And then my pastor at the time also apologized. That whole situation taught me a valuable lesson at a very young age. There is a huge difference between respecting authority and allowing yourself to be abused. You're the pastor, you have a lot of authority, but you don't have the authority to be abusive to anybody. I'm sure he talks to his own congregation like that all the time, and they don't say anything about it. And that was probably the first time he had been checked. Now, I have no clue who was right and who was wrong in that initial conflict, but I know one thing, that pastor learned to watch his mouth.